Hello and welcome to my 5,000 subscriber Q&A video. The last few days have been pretty crazy because I thought it was going to take a couple of months to reach 5,000 from where I was a few days ago, but I've reached it in like under a day and now I'm on over 6,000. So thank you. So anyways, I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can, and I'm sorry if your question does not get answered. It's either because I simply didn't see the question, or it's because it was already answered in a previous question. So anyways, let's begin. On my Discord, CosminPerRam asked, how did you get started with programming? So I actually got started with programming by using Scratch approximately 5 years ago. I had an account on there called Scratch.os, and I used to make games, such as this one here, an RPG game. So yeah, I spent a lot of my time in year 9, which was when I was 14 years old, just playing around on Scratch and learning programming basically. Like, of course, Scratch isn't exactly your conventional programming languages, but it was a great introduction. However, by the time I was 15, I basically was bored of Scratch, and I just stopped programming for a little while. But this all ended when I was 17, when I actually decided to get back into programming using real programming languages, such as C#, which is the one I actually got started with. Now, I used C# for a few months before I realised that C++ was actually better for what I wanted to make, which was games. So in June 2015, I decided to learn C++. And to learn C++, I used this brilliant book here called Jumping into C++ by Alex Elaine. I think that's how you pronounce that. Another thing that helped me get started was when I came to the realisation that programming languages are designed by humans to be human readable and human understandable. And ever since I came to this realisation, I've been learning programming very rapidly, so yeah. And that's basically how I got into programming. The next question is from RaGoX BG, who says, how did you learn OpenGL, and can you recommend me a book or a site about OpenGL? So in January 2016, me and a friend of mine called Bag decided to learn OpenGL together. And we both learn OpenGL from this website here, called learnopengl.com. This website here is also really good for learning OpenGL, so I recommend you check both of them out. And the final resource that we used to learn OpenGL was the OpenGL 3D game tutorial by FinMatrix, which is quite potentially the best tutorial that I've ever watched in my whole life. And in case you're wondering, this was basically one of my first OpenGL projects that I ever made, and it's basically just a 3D walking scene with a bunch of alien faces. Anyways, the link to all these OpenGL resources are in the description below. The next question is from DirtyBlasion, who asks, what does the dinosaur from your picture represent, and why was it looking in the sky before? Did you make the picture? This is my original avatar. It was a picture of a dinosaur looking up to the stars. And it actually comes from this comic strip here. You can see it on the bottom to last panel. So I'm not entirely sure who actually made that depressing comic, and if you know, then please comment below so I can credit them in the description. Eventually I decided that it was wrong to be using someone else's artwork for my avatar, so I asked on my Discord server if someone could make me a new one. And well, here are some of the submissions that people made me, but in the end I ended up by using this one here, which was made by the user Raging Rabbit. So I have quite a few questions here from Damoygames, and I've already answered most of them, except for the first one. Did you go to university to learn programming? I haven't actually been to university yet, but if I get the grades that I need, I'm going to be going this September to do computer science. Ivan says, do you have any siblings? Yes, I have 2 brothers, and they're both older than me. Do you have any interesting talents or skills? Not really. What do you do in your free time, apart from coding? I play video games, I guess. Is this list too long? No, it's good, mate. Jess says, will you continue to work on your version of Minecraft in your own spare time? Well, if I do, then it would be, well, from scratch again, and I would add multiplayer, because something I've always wanted in my own Minecraft clone is multiplayer, because that would just be awesome. The next question is from James7176, who is asking, what are my PC specs? Well, my processor is an Intel i7-6700HQ, and I have 8GB of RAM. And the video card in this laptop is a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 950M. The next question is from Hayden, and he is asking, how many coding languages do you know? It's basically summed up here. I know lots of C++ and C, I know some Java, some C#, and I know a little bit of Python and Kotlin. This next question is from csrevolt, and he is asking, what's a type of programming that you want to learn more about? Well, this definitely has to be functional programming languages, such as Haskell, but I just struggle to get my head around it basically, because it's it's very different from normal programming. DataSec L asks me, what do you think about Unreal Engine? Is it worth to learn to work with them? In my opinion, Unreal is a really good engine, and you should definitely learn it if your goal is to make games. I don't use it myself because I just happen to prefer the programming side of things more than the making game side of things, and I like to have more control. Thomas Lienbacher says, have you ever tried creating AI, and if not, will you ever try? Oh, I haven't really had a reason to learn AI, so I haven't learnt about it really. But in the future I might, I just don't know. This next question is from Erzis, and he's asking, what type of music do you listen to? That's a big question, but I guess my favourite types of music are metal, rock, dubstep, and classical. This next question is from Vector, and he is asking, will you ever make a proper How to Make Minecraft and C++ series without bad practices? If I do, it would be in text form rather than video form, for several reasons. First of all, I feel that videos are not the optimal learning method for programming, because it's just way too easy to sort of copy the code down without really understanding what's going on. And secondly, with text tutorials, you are able to go at your own pace, unlike with video tutorials where you have to keep pausing and whatever, which just isn't very good. The final question comes from King Zero, and he is asking, how do you record your computer? I use OBS. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for all the questions. I'm really sorry if I didn't answer your question though. Any resources or websites, whatever mentioned throughout the Q&A will all be in the description below. So anyways, once again, thank you for watching and goodbye!